What's up, guys? Welcome back to Action Based Agents. Today we have a very special guest, Sal Ventre, on, who's part of the Jersey Shore area, I should say, and recently came over to EXP and is also doing things in Florida. So we're going to kind of break down his business soup to nuts and how he got into real estate, and then what made him come over to EXP, as well as what he's doing going forward. So Sal, pleasure having you on, man. I appreciate you being here, and let's hear it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it as well. Geez, I just recently came over to EXP about 4 months ago, trying to, get to a higher level with my business. I've been running a team for the past couple of years. I was with Remax for the last 8 years. Originally started with a small brokerage, Crossroads Realty, down on the Jersey Shore. So I got my license 10 years ago, kind of, on a whim. I didn't even have any plans to become a realtor. So I was running a business at the time. My father and I had started one of those froyo places where you like make it yourself and weigh it, So I had one of those going back 12, 13 years ago. And I was operating and running the business myself 7 days a week. And so in my downtime, I used to read some business books, and I read like the most cliche book ever, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so that got me interested in real estate. I ended up getting my real estate license because I wanted to flip houses. However, the broker that hired me really kind of just took a liking to me, took me under his wing, so to speak, and allowed me to co-list some properties with him, like right off the bat. And I'm sorry. So rewind. I did meet a client right away, and I just got addicted immediately to the business. I sold a house. I got a commission check, and I was like, dude, I got to sell a lot of I got to sell a lot of.
Dude, you're safe cursing with
me.
Right.
I was like, I got to sell a lot of yogurt to make one of these commission checks. So like a light bulb went off, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should, pursue this real estate thing. And like I said, my broker at the time took a liking to me. He let me co-list a couple properties with him. And then that was it. I got addicted to it. And within 6 months, I sold the yogurt business, and I've been doing this full time for the last 10 years. So that's kind of how I got into real estate. Funny story. So I started with Crossroads. After about a year is when I ultimately met Chris Walsh. Through Joe Oz, actually. So I was at a real estate networking event. I met Joe Oz, who's now a team leader with EXP as well. And Joe was like, I'll never forget this. Joe was like, dude, so Joe was working for Chris Walsh at the time. He was his broker. And Joe was like, dude, you've got to meet my buddy Chris. He is the Ari Gold of real estate. So I was like, who is this guy? I got to meet this dude, right? So I met with Chris, and Chris was very influential to me because he was a guy. So in my prior office, the office that originally hired me, I was 23 years old at the time, and the average age was probably 63. And so I met Chris, who was in his, early to mid 30s and just doing phenomenally well and very influential. And again, he kind of took me under his wing from there. I joined his brokerage, and I was with him ever since until we came to EXP. But it wasn't that easy. I was with Chris for 2 or 3 years before I actually started doing pretty well. And I remember going to him and saying, like, hey man, I don't know if this business is for me. I've been at it for a year now, 2 years now. And, it's not clicking for me. Maybe it's just, maybe it's not for me. And, he gave me a couple pointers, and ultimately I actually took a period. So like my big transition year was from year 3 to 4. I went from doing about 12 deals to 50 in that 1 year. And there was a point in that 3rd year where, I had a couple deals die and rent was due. I had no cash. And I ended up training to be a bartender. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this in real estate. I have to pay my rent. I need some money. I trained 1 day. And after the first day, I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this. I'm going to figure it out. And that was kind of like my aha moment where I was like, you know what? I'm going to do literally whatever it takes to make this work. And the following day, I was living in Red Bank at the time, and I door knocked every home and business. And I stumbled across an attorney that threw me a couple listings, kind of kept the ball rolling, so to speak, in terms of finances, and then things just kind of took off from there. There was a few key points and key clients that I had met that changed my business, but from there it's been up ever since. And so from 3 to 4, like I said, it went from about 12 deals to 50, and then it's been up, since then for the last 6 or 7 years.
And I feel like that like had you gone through with that bartending, I feel like what's really sunk in is like that's it. You gave up. If you had done that, you failed. And obviously failure is fine and whatnot, but that would have just possibly changed your whole trajectory in this whole thing, because
Absolutely.
I see so many agents do that all the time. And that's why, it's cool to see that you broke through that. And I feel like a lot of agents see the success that you've had right now, but they don't remember 2009 or 2011. I don't know when you got in, 2011-ish, when it was awful and people weren't buying homes. Oh, and then Hurricane Sandy crushed us the next year, like things that Ida kind of brought back right now with the way things are happening, the reappraisals and stuff like that. And it's kind of stalling out deals if they had flooded, but it was not an easy time,
No.
and I don't think it's an easy time right now. And I don't think it was an easy time in 2015. I don't think it really matters, but you have to get to that point where you say to yourself, I am absolutely going to make this work. There's nothing else I'm going to do. And until you fully commit, it's very difficult to actually like get up off the ground. I'm sure agents get lucky and they or maybe their dad's a developer and that, but that didn't have that either. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
no, I had zero connections.
Yeah. So, and going forward there, once it clicked, I mean, what did your typical day look like? What were you doing to audit your systems and whatnot to continue to grow and make sure that you're doing more every single year?
So a few key things actually happened for me. So in that transition year, I moved. So I moved out of my hometown that I originally had grown up in. And not only that, but I had surrounded myself so forcefully. So Chris Walsh, who was my broker at the time, hired a business coach right around that time to take his business from, $1 million to $2 million. And I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I need a deal. So anyway, he was kind enough to really relay everything that he was learning to me at the time. And I kind of just clicked that, hey, if I want to be where he's at, I have to do the things that he's doing. And so what I was still living like a kid, I was sleeping in too late. I was, not prioritizing my calendar. I was taking days off by 1, 2 o'clock. And then when I moved out of my hometown and I kind of eliminated a lot of those distractions and I forced myself to just, hey, I have to put in the work. And I also got kind of introduced to Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, all those coaching programs where they were very, very adamant about sticking to a strict calendar, being up at 7 a.m., exercising, making my calls. I got very into making expired and FSBO calls. And that I think helped too, because I was able to learn objection handlers because I was forced to. So although a lot of agents discredit expired and FSBO calls and door knocking and things like that, because I did it, I feel like I became very good at thinking on my feet, handling objections, which translated into everything else, listing appointments and working with buyers and everything. And so I really just got super strict with myself. I blocked out a lot of friends that I was spending a lot of time with. And then I purposely and strategically spent time with people that were in positions that I wanted to be and tried to study their behaviors and study their routines and daily habits. And I just got really obsessive over my calendar and my daily routine. And I think that was huge for me. Yeah, no, that's so true. It's like if you have the discipline to take daily action and actually hold to the schedule, then the next step is, all right, well, how do I have the skill set to enhance my conversion ratios? And then how am I going to sit at the right table? How am I going to be, I always joke and say, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. That's my goal at all times. And I never want to be the smartest one. So yeah, that's huge too. And that's definitely elevated. And I'm still laughing about the RE Gold aspect of that too. As soon as you said that certainly clicked. But awesome, man. Well, now we fast forward now, you made the move to EXP. You're launching or have launched in Miami or in South Florida. Something I've always thought about doing. So I'm just curious, what is that experience like? What is it? How are you doing it? How's it working? So when I went to EXP, I had originally 8 team members and 1 staff. Now we have in 4 months, we have 25 agents and 5 staff. And going to EXP really opened my eyes a lot on the possibilities, and especially kind of, again, it was kind of like me meeting Chris Walsh 2.0 because I got to see guys like yourself and the Kyle Whistles and the Dan Beers and the Jay Kinders and the people that were just doing things on such a bigger and grander level. And I was like, wow, like this is actually possible. And so I put everything into high gear. Now the Florida thing is something that I've spent a lot of time in Florida because I have really good friends and family that live out there. So there was a time I was out there 8-10 times a year, once a month I was out in South Florida. And so I really just grew to like the area a lot. I thought I could see myself selling, working there, living there. And then once the pandemic hit and I saw the writing on the wall of, all these Fortune 500 companies and people moving their businesses and lives to Florida, the light bulb kind of went off that like, hey, you know what, if I'm going to do it, now's the time. I don't want to be too far behind the 8 ball. And just by being in the area often and having relationships with people down there, I was able to connect with some friends of mine that were realtors. And as soon as I told them about the move to EXP and explained everything, they were on board. So it was, we have 4 agents down there now. Hopefully we're going to be growing a lot more. I haven't been able to get down there as often as I would like, but I will be soon. And hopefully we'll be able to expand into a nice big office space and just grow from there. But it's been challenging, but fun doing, running New Jersey and Florida. But it's been a really cool experience.
No, that's really cool. And what's nice too with us, like I see agents that, they're KW in New Jersey and then they're KW in Florida and they're dual licensed in both states. They go back and forth and they have to pay a cap up here and a cap down there, or they're Caldwell Banker down there, Weichert up here, sure, and they're paying 2 different splits. What's nice with us, and we work really well with the dual license, even if you're tri-licensed in 3 different states, you only pay the cap the one time. Yeah. Because of the corporate aspect. So that's definitely huge. We're going to try to, and you and I should mastermind off of this outside of this, but we're going to, Dan Spitz on our team just got licensed, got his broker's license in Illinois. So he's going to launch in Chicago. The target is March 1st, and we're going to start building the foundation behind that. But very cool. Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like COVID enhanced the idea of us being able to be kind of wherever we wanted to be. For sure. Because it's not crazy to tell a client, hey, I'm down in Florida for 6 months. They'll be like, oh, that sounds great. I get that. Cool.
I actually couldn't believe the response that I got. I just put a few things out on social media. And granted, I feel like New Jersey has a lot of people that go down to Florida and we have a lot of transplants. But I still get calls all the time. People are like, hey, I saw you're down in Florida. We're looking to move down there. Or so-and-so wants to sell their house down there. So it's been awesome. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it is now. Granted, we're not near the scale that we are here in New Jersey, but it was a smoother transition than I thought.
Nice. That is good to hear. Awesome. Well, what advice would you give, a newer agent, coming into the business or somebody who's looking to grow a team? I mean, you've gone from, you've significantly grown. I'd imagine the volume is pulling right behind your growth on that too. And the numbers are going hand in hand.
For sure.
What pointers would you have for somebody as a send off?
So I guess I'll answer that twofold, right? So for the person that wants to start a team, and then for the newer agent, I think for the newer agent, and this is kind of ironic, but for a newer agent, join a team, because I think, it's funny. I was talking with Joe Oz earlier today, and he made a good point, and I see it now that he brought it up. I see it often when I interview agents to join my team. People are no longer saying like, oh, I met with Keller Williams, I met with Caldwell, they're saying I met with so-and-so team, I met with this team, I met with your team. And so I think that teams are kind of the way that the industry is shifting, and there's no better way to get experience and coaching and personal attention. When I first started as just an agent with a brokerage, I was one of 100. I was lucky enough that my broker helped me out, but that's not normally the case. I think a lot of new agents, they just struggle with getting hands-on experience, and that's something that we can provide with the team. So as a newer agent, 1000%, I would value the experience and the education over the commission splits. I think that's the biggest thing. When a brand new agent says to me, oh, what's my split? Or, can I get a higher split? It's like major red flag for me. It should be all about learning and getting that experience. And then as an agent that wants to grow a team, I would say to start slow. I think, going too quick, you can you can force yourself out of business by trying to grow too quickly as well. So I would start slow. I would start with an assistant 100%. But I think the biggest challenge that people have with growing a team is that, as an individual realtor, I think what makes a good individual realtor is that we are very controlling, and we like to be in control of the outcome of things, and we're perfectionists, right? I would say a lot of top producers have a lot of those same traits, and I think those are the same traits that hold us back as team leaders. Because in order to be a good team leader and run a good team, I think you need to give up some of that control. You need to be able to delegate. You need to be able to trust people, and you need to put helping and giving first. I've seen a lot of agents try to start teams, and their number one priority at all times in the day is their business and their life and what they have going on, and they don't have time to help their agents and why would they want to work with you? And so I think if you're going to join a team, be willing to give up some control, and also understand that it's no longer all about you. And if you want people to stay and you want people to be happy, you need to give more than you focus on your own personal. That's why, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, because I've grown so much, I've made the decision to set a deadline of I'm going to step out of production and focus 100% of my energy towards running my team. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with and can't do.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I see so many agents too that they run a team, but they're out there cherry picking the $1 million and up leads. And it's I was fortunate enough. I used same thing. When my son came in the spring, I used that as my timeline to say, hey, I'm out of production, and I'll still list properties here and there, but always bring somebody on the team in with me. We'll partner up on it, and I'll kind of send off. I'll still only do maybe 5 or 10 sales this year to some of my very close friends, but that really gives me a lot of time to go in and focus on, pulling levers to make sure that that the agents have the best experience possible, and that the consumer has the best experience possible as a member of our organization. And you're right. It's not easy to step off because mistakes are going to happen. Like they say, hire somebody better than you at the job of doing that, but there's still going to be issues that arise from you not doing it. And you just have to understand the amount of growth that can come, the amount of good that comes from that versus the 2 little screw ups that might happen here or there.
Exactly.
is night and day. So yeah, if you can release the attachment of something possibly going wrong and being out of your control and moving on from that, I'm sure actually they know not to tell me about when things go wrong anymore. So I don't even know what the hell's going on.
I hope I get to that level at some point.
Yeah, it's probably, if any of my clients speak up, it might be an absolute shit show, but I don't know about it. No, I think it's pretty tight though. I joke about that. So we have this coming Thursday in Red Bank. What's the name of the place?
Buonasera. It's a really iconic Italian restaurant in Red Bank. Super cool place.
Yeah, we're going to have, it's 5 or 6 of us are speaking at it. It's going to start at 1:00. It's going to be a live event. We have 120 seats available, and I think we could open up a little bit more if we do sell out at that. But if you guys have any interest, I'm going to plug Sal's sign-up link into the chat after this. Definitely, go in, sign up. If you're a vendor and you have interest in getting involved, definitely reach out to us too, and we can let you know how that would look. And Sal, if they wanted to reach out to you in regards to EXP team building, feeling that value that you guys felt coming in, what's a good way for them to get in touch with you?
At Sal Ventre on pretty much every platform. It's just very easy. Sal Ventre, Instagram, Facebook. You can also email me, sal@theventreteam.com. Yeah, and my phone number is on all those places too. If you want to schedule a call, you could just click the link in my Instagram profile. Very easy to reach.
Awesome. Well, yeah, definitely. I appreciate you coming on, dude. And again,
appreciate you having me.
Next Thursday in Red Bank. I still don't remember the name
of it. Looking forward to it. Yes, Buonasera.
I'm going to be there. Click the link, sign up, and I'll see you guys there.
All right. Thanks, man.